Welcome to the Panasonic studio at the Toronto International Film Festival. The Skin I Live In is the new Pedro Almodovar film, and it stars Antonio Banderas, who's sitting across from me. Congratulations on this movie. I'll tell you, as I walked out of the screening from this film, another critic came up to me and said, wow, that was crazy, even for an Almodovar film. And it is. This is a movie that I was describing it as like 3 Hitchcock movies all wrapped up into one. You know, there are so many twists and turns, and I'm being very careful about how I talk about it because I don't want to give anything away about this movie. But it takes you to places that you could not possibly have imagined. You and Pedro have a long history. You haven't worked together for some time. You have a long history. Did he talk to you about this beforehand, or did he just send over a script and say, what do you think? How did that work?
10 years ago, in a Cannes Film Festival, I was there with a Brian De Palma movie, and he called me right after the projection. He said, can we have an interview? I said, absolutely. So he talked to me about Tarantula for the first time, the novel in which the movie is based. And the impact that it produced on me, I remember being the same impact that audiences are having today when they're watching the movie. It produces so many reflections in you. Something happens in the middle when we start going in flashback that reposition in terms of morality the whole entire audience again. So it's moving you continuously. Well, that is Pedro Almodovar.
That's what makes him an artist, though. You know, and as I was watching this movie, I thought to myself, this will play well in North America. It will get audiences. You're a big star. Pedro Almodovar is a big star as a director. The story will capture people, but this movie would never have been made in North America.
Oh no, in the studio, impossible.
Yeah.
Not only just because of the issues that is treated in the movie, but because of the shape of it.
Yes, yeah.
Almodovar proposed not only a very thick reflection about morality, power, identity,
sexual identity.
Identity.
You could. I don't have enough fingers to talk about all the things that they question in this movie.
Absolutely. But not only because of that. It will happen also because of the narrative process that he. Almodovar is the only person that I know that in a matter of 5 minutes can take you from the altitudes of Shakespeare to the miseries of Mexican soap opera. And he does it without no mask. I mean, right there in front of an audience, completely raw.
Well, he's certainly unique, and I think that one of the things for me is that, as you say, you know, Shakespeare to Mexican soap opera in the span of, is that he's thoroughly versed in popular culture, and yet mixes high culture in with popular culture in a way that very few other people can have the audacity to get away with.
Most directors that I know, and some of them are very respectful people that I have worked with, but they wouldn't dare to do things in the way that he does. And as an actor, you feel an unbelievable amount of vertigo when you're working with him, because you feel sometimes that he's pushing you to the edge of a cliff.
Right. There are a couple of moments in this movie that, I mean, I've seen all of Almodovar's films.
One of the movies like, what?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But, you know, in the world that he's created and that you as the actors inhabit and bring to life on the screen, it makes sense. There's nothing in this movie to me that felt false. There's nothing that I thought to myself, no matter how outlandish it was, and again, it's hard to talk about without giving anything away, but there's nothing in this movie that I thought, wow, like, that's outlandish, but I believe it. And I believe that this character, knowing what little I know about him at this point, I believe it to be true.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and obviously we have to understand that we are playing in a turf in which there is a certain element of science fiction.
Yeah.
And at the same time, Pedro Almodovar is quoting and just refreshing classics, like Frankenstein, is refreshing, you know, the Mad Doctor, and the Mansion, the Gothic, the technology. There is something of Cronenberg in a way also in him, but definitely yes. No. When I was talking about that, it's probably I got a little bit too deep, too profound.
And remember, follow us on Twitter at Red Carpet Diary, and like us on Facebook so you can keep up with all the comings and goings and all the interviews happening right here at the Panasonic studio at the Toronto International Film Festival.